Hey guys, this is Tensor. Today I wanted to discuss a new system that I recently put into place. Not long ago I mentioned that I wanted to make live courses a reality for this channel. For those of you who didn't hear that announcement, the idea is that these live courses would be live streamed tutorials where you guys would be able to participate via pair programming and voice chat or text chat or whatever. Now that system is not completely in place. However, in service of moving in that direction, I've decided to release a platform, if you will, that will allow you guys to start to submit specific questions to me, and these questions will then be curated, and some of them will be picked as a basis for future video tutorials. Now I understand this isn't quite the same as a live streamed live course, but it's a first step, and I think it will help us get to where I want to go. With the release of this content, I will also be revamping the Discord channel and the Patreon account. With Patreon, I just released a new member tier that will give you priority when you ask a question. So if you ask a question and you fill out this form here, and you put in your Patreon username / alias or whatever it is that's tied to your Patreon account, then your question will have priority over anyone else's. This will apply to anybody who's currently a Patreon supporter and anybody who was originally a Patreon supporter, even if you're not anymore. As for the Discord channel, I will be working on building a Discord bot for the channel, and that entire process will be made into a set of tutorial videos which I will put onto the channel so that you guys can actually watch how I build that thing. Now there are a few guidelines with regards to the requests that you want to put into this form. So let's just go over the form real quick. Got an email address here. Doesn't matter if you put in a real email address or a fake one. Then we've got our Patreon / YouTube username or alias. If you want to stay anonymous, just put in whatever. But if you want to declare that you're a patron, or if you want to identify yourself, then put in your username from either Patreon or YouTube. Down below here, you can then pick a programming language, and I've got all of the programming languages that we've covered on the channel. I've even got a few that I've only covered in like 1 or 2 videos, like Clojure and ReasonML. And I've also got this other section. Below the programming languages, we've got the general topic. So say for instance, your general topic is machine learning. That's what you'd write here. And then if you have a very specific question, you can write it down here. And this little part of the form is not required. You can just write in a general topic and then skip this part. Or if you have a very specific question, then you can just write it down here and then just put something in here just to be able to submit the form. There are a few guidelines that I want you guys to keep in mind when using this form. If you are submitting a question about a language that I haven't put into this section here, keep in mind that there must be a compelling reason for me to cover that language. So if you put in like Haskell, for instance, or if you put in like JavaScript or Python, there needs to be a good reason why I should be looking at that language for your question. In other words, if you write in a different programming language, then you're probably less likely to get your question answered in video format. Now, because all of these questions are going to be made into video tutorials, at least that's the plan, try to make your questions as general as possible. If you have a specific question that you want to ask, make sure to kind of frame it so that there is more to it than just do this and do that. Also, try not to ask questions about topics that I've already covered on the channel, unless they're about topics with videos that have been depreciated. So for instance, some of my Rust videos are depreciated, or some of my Flutter videos are depreciated. So those topics are of course completely open to discussion. Now once you've filled out this form, just hit submit. You will be able to edit your responses if you want to, and you're able to submit as many responses as you want to this form. Just try not to spam the form with too many questions. If you spam your question over and over again on this form, then it'll probably just annoy me and I'll be less likely to make a video about it. Now, of course, all of the videos that you submit this way will be made in the usual format, at least for right now. So just keep that in mind when you submit your question. If you do not want your question to be answered in that format, then you can of course wait until the live format is released. Or you could just submit the question and mark that you want it to be a live course in the future. Alright guys, well that's it for today. I'll make sure to include a link to this form in the video description, and I'll also put it in Discord, and I'll also put it in every other video description going forward. I hope you guys have a good night.